My Hero Academia came back this week, and what happens? Well, actually a lot and yet nothing. Don't get me wrong, this is a little bit more on the emotional side of things. But I'm still wondering, what are we being setting up? The endless reveal on who Toya truly is seems to be getting stronger and stronger. So, is this upcoming arc going to be the Todoroki family arc again, where they all will overcome their difficulties? Or is this meant to foreshadow something very, very dark? Well, the Angry Anime found the Despair reviewer here with chapter 249 of My Hero Academia. Also, have I ever told you how much I hate Bakugo? I really, really, really do hate him. But there is something about his character I have to acknowledge, and that is, I absolutely hate him because of his personality, his jerk-ass behavior, and many things more. But surprisingly, that jerk-ass behavior can sometimes say the exact same things that some people need to hear. Yes, it's insensitive, cold, and straight out asshole-ish, but for some reason, no one else daring to say that. The fact that he is saying it is basically his way of showing sympathy. It is so weird. It is strange that a character can work that way, but people like him for that, despite all of his crimes. So regardless, however, in the chapter, we look a little bit deeper into the Endeavor's time, where it's actually revealed that he usually has a dream, for some reason, every night from now on, and that is that he can see his family, except, of course, two people. Who are those two people? Well, first off is, of course, his oldest son, Toya, who I presume is the oldest son. But more importantly, at least to others, he is never in that thing. He has a dream where he sees his family, but he is not there. That is a surprisingly emotional scene for a character like Endeavor. Yes, we do know that he's trying to go through his character development, but we also do know that he has some flaws that cannot be fixed, no matter how much he tried to redeem it all. But for a character like him to actually say it like that, although he doesn't really say it to anyone else, is that his way of showing that he knows that he can't reach his family? Or is that saying that maybe his family will be happier without him? Or is it saying that he really do want his family together, but he just doesn't know how to show that kind of affection? Who knows? Either way, the trainees of the students have trained for what is considered to be a week or something like that, eating along with the sidekicks, and they have really been burning it all through with many scars and many things more. But despite all their tiresome and many things more, no one of the big three, let's just call Shoto, Bakugo, and Deku the big three of UA. I mean, technically there already is a big three, and that big three has one female. So let's call these people Class A's big three. Then, despite all the things else, they are still hanging on, even though they cannot catch up to Endeavor, who's giving his encouragement the other way. They are not a single bit trying to slow down. And so the night comes where they are to visit the Todoroki's household. Of course, Bakugo is Bakugo. He is just simply saying, why is he doing this? Because, well, he is not supposed to be a friend. You know, I find it so ironic that he can just say that out loud to so many people. Especially even to Fuyumi, who is very, very beautiful in that apron. Don't give me... Yes, she has her clothes on, don't worry. And she really gives off a very motherly vibe of it all. Even Natsu is there, but of course, Natsu being Natsu, especially of the fact that Endeavor is Endeavor, only eats his meal, and even mentions some things that once upon a time they did have a housemaid who threw out her back and retired. Why do I have a feeling that she threw out her back for a total different reason? Regardless, however, she used to cook, and then Fuyumi took over. And well, Natsuo has also somehow taken over, but his food has never been acknowledged by his father, once again creating a tense moment that even Bakugo and Deku can feel, because after all, they know what Shoto have been talking about, because Shoto was directed. It doesn't help that Endeavor answers, so, well, Natsuo leaves as soon as he has eaten. Elsewhere, though, as Deku and Bakugo are walking around and Bakugo is being his rude self as usual, here Fuyumi surprisingly shows a very vulnerable side to her. Well, she has always shown a vulnerable side, because she is the most emotional of all of her family. But here, there's one thing that people have always been asking about Fuyumi, and that is, how come she can forgive Endeavor so much? I mean, shouldn't she be just as angry as the rest of the family? But here she says, it's not like I don't feel the same way as Natsu. It's probably implying that behind all that cheerfulness and behind all that, well, granted she is not that cheerful, but behind all of that thing that she really do try to forgive her father, she really do feel a little bit saddened about everything else. But she's also acknowledging that they have a chance now, even saying that to Shoto. So Fuyumi is burying the fear that she has been feeling here, and instead wanting that now they need to do it. They have a chance to do it. And the thing is that Shoto doesn't really know how to answer, because he only answers that he has fathered this scar, something that he received from his father. And then we actually see the scene on when not Fuyumi, Rei Todoroki, his mother, burned him. That is a very difficult scene to see too as well, because as we all know, Rei had a mental breakdown at that moment, and when she saw Shoto, she saw a mirror image of his father, and so she threw a hot water at him. Here is actually revealed that the reason why he is not blind in that eye, I presume, is because she immediately tried to use her quirk and greatly apologized on him as soon as that happened, because as soon as she splattered that water, she realized what she did, and that is what truly mentally broke her. Her mind was really beginning to break already at that time, but the fact that she wounded her own son mentally broke her, and that is the reason why she has ended up in that hospital as well. The abuse that she felt from Endeavor, the fact that she couldn't help her children, probably what happened to Toya, and then finally the fact that she snapped and just wounded Shoto in an unconscious rage mentally broke her. So, but we do say that Shoto is acknowledging that from a letter that he knows that Rei is trying to overcome her past. And we have also seen that despite everything that Rei has been going through, she is trying to overcome her past. It's not known exactly if that is possible. In fact, if she meets Endeavor, will she have another mental breakdown? It's very likely she will. You can't lose exhaustion and such guilt as so quickly, and escape abuse so quickly. But the fact that Rei is actually trying to move up beyond that is very beautiful. Of course, Deku and Bakugo have heard that, and Bakugo just busts open the doors and tells them, here's the thing what I mentioned before. He is actually saying that keep this shit to yourself when you have guests over. I mean, and that isn't dinner supposed to be more lighthearted? Now the taste of the Mapo tofu is ruined. I mean, yes, he is being extremely jerk-ashy here. I mean, you really have to ruin the moment here. Well, technically it wasn't a moment, it was more of a sad one. But surprisingly, what he says is also true. They have guests over. Stop moping, stop complaining, and just entertain us in a way. So, what Bakugo says is completely wrong, but it's also right in a way, because that's how Bakugo's character is. So, but Deku, the one who is truly the one who's sensitive, actually asks, and a guy who is very good at analyzing people, saying that He feels like Shoto is mentally preparing himself to forgive Endeavor, because if he really hated him, he would never have forgiven him. And he knows that Shoto is not that kind of person. That's why it looks like she's waiting. He's waiting. It's worth noting that Natsuo also hears that, with Boku mentions. Even Endeavor, as he walks by, can also hear that, feeling he's waiting, as he sits behind an altar, very likely the same kind of altar that Fuyumi prayed to. And what is that altar for? It's where he says that in the same dream that I've had about my family, I wish you would have been there. Toya, as we see for the first time ever a clear picture of Toya Todoroki. Or first time ever, well, the fear that Dabi is Toya is very strong, to the point where it actually would be surprising if he's not. But the thing is here that there's just something. Now that we see a picture of Toya, are we finally going to find out? Are we finally going to get the confirmation in story that Dabi is Toya? And are we officially going to get closure on the Todoroki household? Or are we going to get despair? If you ask me, I don't think we are going to get closure in the Todoroki household. Yes, Shoto is is mentally preparing himself to forgive his father, but he also feels like he doesn't want to because of everything that happened, but also knows that what is happening and what his mother is doing, he is mentally preparing. So wouldn't it then be emotionally excellent if that chance never happens? I mean, if Endeavor dies before his entire family forgives him, if you think about it, that would be a very, very difficult scene to see. But it would also make sense. In the end, Shoto, Natsu, and maybe Fuyumi and those rest just couldn't say, I forgive you in time. In a way, I actually hope that happens. Don't get me wrong, I don't want despair, but for a very good, impactful storyline, I would have want that. And now we see how Toya officially looks like. So the question is do that look like Dabi? Yeah, kinda. Almost a little bit. There's just something though that is a little bit strange. You know, in the anime, every time we have seen Toya's backside, Toya has always had red hair. And this picture seems to imply that he has white hair the same way as all of his other parents. And you know, there were some people who actually felt like he looked a lot like Getten. Wouldn't that better been the twist? But nah, I don't think it's like that. My point is though that why do they animate Toya with white hair while they animate with red hair while the manga had given him white hair? Is the red hair meant to symbolize more on the fact that he really is Dabi, or was that just some miscolor? Or is there something else I'm missing? Well, who knows? Either way, this altar of Toya seems to suggest that his entire family believes he is dead. So whatever happened to Toya, no one knows. That actually explains why, if Dabi is Toya, that will actually explain why no one recognizes him. Everybody believes Toya is dead. But the biggest question is here, if Toya is not dead, then how come he has managed to evade them for so long? Granted, he is so mutilated, so that is probably not so surprising how. But what I'm trying to say is, if the family believes he is dead, then how did he escape that death? Again, we are waiting, but we are getting a little bit too much tease here. So please, reveal to us already that Dabi is Todoroki. Give me your thoughts if you have any.